Welcome to the first episode of Logical Optimism with my co-host Nugi, and this is our first episode. And my name is Zizaran. This is going to be, every 2 weeks. It's a regular podcast, which is our first topic. We're gonna tell you guys a little bit about this and our plans for it and stuff like that. And you can see the topic list here on screen. How are you today, Nugi?
I'm good. Was lured into Mordhau, but other than that, I'm good.
Yes, I know. It's pretty addicting. So for those of you who are watching for the first time, we're gonna open up with a little bit about us. I'll start with my name is Zizaran. I like to stream a lot. I usually play PoE a lot every league, and I try to do a lot of racing, and now I'm working on starting a couple of different shows up, this being one of them. And I've been streaming for 3.5 years, and I can try to entertain you guys as much as possible.
Wow, that sounds nice. Yo, what other thing are you starting up? Now you mentioned it.
I can't talk about it.
No, you can't talk about it. Playing Koi already. Okay. Well, I'm Nugi. I've been on Twitch for, God, how long? 6.5 or 7 years? Wait, when did Diablo 3 come out?
Yes.
7 years, right? About now?
Yes. I have no idea, so I'm just gonna say yes.
God damn, I'm pretty... 212? Have I been here since 212 or 213?
I'm not sure.
It must have been 212. Right?
If you write something in chat, I can click on you.
PoE was 13, right? Yeah, so I pretty much 7 years on Twitch.
You're not bored? I'm just kidding.
What? I have done some podcasts before.
Nice.
And I play a lot of PoE, a lot of other just games in general. I'm just a gamer.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to talk about games.
Good. And for those of you wondering, this is our intended cast where I really prefer 2 to 3 people, and I generally prefer 2 hosts. So in the future, we might have a guest, maybe even 2, but most likely just a guest here and there. And this is sort of, I feel a lot of podcasts end up with like 5 or 6 people, and then you end up with one person not contributing a lot, and one person feeling left out, and one person talking the entire time and taking, holding the torch for talking. So I feel like the less people you have on a podcast, the better, which makes me happy that Nugi wanted to do this with me. And I'm very excited. So the things we're gonna, I'll do like quick topic overview. So we're going to talk about like the podcasts, what we're doing now. The second topic is going to be the races and PoE. So we're going to talk a little about the current racing scene and things that have happened recently. Exile and like the mini races and like things like that. Third topic is the flashbacks. We're going to talk a little bit explaining it for those of you who don't know what it is and haven't done anything like this before. Our stuff we're doing, and then after that we're going to give some recommendations.
Yay.
Which should be pretty great. I'm very excited. And then, Nugi, do you want to tell a little bit about our goals for this podcast?
Our goals?
Our goals.
Oh, God. I mean, our goals of the podcast is, to talk about games and to, give people some insight into what we're doing is all about. Probably to start with, mainly PoE. And then, if we find ourselves to play some other games as well, we might venture into that. Like for right now, like Mordhau, if we'd played it for longer or had like more of a setup time, we could have talked about that for sure. For right now, it's going to be PoE though.
Yeah.
And hopefully with some added guests and just some interesting topics down the line.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited about this. I feel like there's not that many podcasts in PoE, and it's like
that's been a lot over
right, but there's like the main like stable ones at the moment. Like there's not very many that have like stayed, but obviously there's some that come and go. And you've had some in the past. I've had some. So hopefully this is like intended to be a long running thing. And our idea for a schedule is we want to do this exactly every 2 weeks. we can move it a day or so if we have to, based on things like, a league launch and stuff like this. And being regular, or having a regular schedule's pretty important. I think we both agreed that the next episode we can already announce now, being Sunday the 19th.
Yes.
And then we kind of want to do it every 2 weeks from that. So Sundays will be the regular podcast day.
And we'll try and make it so that if we are somehow preoccupied with something else, like a league launch or something, that we will not cancel it, but we'll push the episode a little bit. So we'll try and have an episode every 2 weeks.
Yes.
Even if we are otherwise engaged.
Yes. Like, the important thing is we're going to try to announce it ahead of time when the episode is. Which will ideally just be every 2 weeks. But giving you guys notice when the next one will be. And we're gonna also be uploading it to like other things like Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and there'll be easy places to find it.
Like a real podcast.
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly. I think that's like pretty much all we needed to say for the first topic.
Yeah, I think so.
And we can move on to races and PoE. So the most recent thing, obviously, that happened in Path of Exile was the beat races, which was it had positive and negative things.
Yeah.
Do you want to lead us on with the beat races?
I mean, so the beat races was so the beat. I'm gonna be honest here. I did not know much about them before the whole event. A lot of people were invited. So they're apparently, from what you told me, they're like a racing org from Overwatch. And what other games was it?
Only other thing I've seen from them was the Overwatch thing, I think. Either Overwatch or Counter-Strike. Something I saw.
So they've done some stuff in the past, and they set up an invitational event for PoE with an Exile Con ticket as a prize. So that was surprising.
And that was very surprising because all the racers that were in touch with B and got invited did not know that there was an Exile Con ticket on the line, which changes a lot, obviously, because there, for those of you who don't know, there are 4 of these so-called golden ticket races, 3 which remains to be announced, and I think everybody, the racers included, thought this was something that would be open to the entire Path of Exile community. So it was very surprising when this was gated behind a invite only. When Beat approached us, they just said, "Hey, do you want to compete in a tournament for $2,000? Sure, sounds great."
I mean, who wouldn't say yes?
Exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, there's been quite a lot of negativity around it, and especially involving Nugi and stuff, which hasn't been great.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I mean, we can just talk about it, I guess. So what happened with me is that on Reddit, the beat post was posted, right? With all the announcements, with the pricing and the format. And in that, there was the announcement of the ticket as well. And that kind of caught everyone by surprise, because it was also announced as being the best racers, right? The current best racers of PoE. I gotta be honest, I'm not in the top. I don't know. I probably wouldn't even categorize me in this format as being in the top 10 right now, because I just haven't practiced, and I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say that I'm not up there. I can own up to that, but I mean, it did say of the best, but that's kind of besides the point. So what ended up happening with me in particular was Carve kind of outed me, and I've spoken to Carve, and I want no ill will towards Carve here. I know he's gotten a lot of flack for people trying to come to my aid now, and now they're doing what people were doing to me to Carve. And please leave Carve alone. I've had my private talks with him, and he's a good guy. He never... The point he was trying to make is that GGG kind of like dropped the ball on this with giving out a ticket in a way that people didn't really expect, right? It wasn't really an open field. It wasn't really open to everyone, and we didn't really get the feel that we were looking for, right? It wasn't really fair to the people who's putting in a lot of work. And I think that's a fair assessment. I don't know. What do you think about that?
So I mean, like obviously the only reason that any of this like was got any hate, okay, I honestly feel like a lot of the people on Reddit didn't really understand why, or at least
Yeah.
not everyone. I feel like a lot of people were just, it's very easy to jump on a bandwagon. And I saw some people was like having an invitational race at all is like completely out of line. But like obviously an invitational race is fine. That was never the problem. The only problem was the ExileCon ticket being gated behind the invitational.
Yeah.
And the second problem is that the notice we got as players for knowing that it was an ExileCon ticket. This wasn't a race that I had done any insane practice for either. And as soon as like it got announced, it was like, oh, by the way, ExileCon ticket. I was like, oh, I should have practiced more. And that's something I need to and want to qualify for as well, obviously. So yeah, that's the main really bad thing, really bad communication, and announcing it so close in advance means that you don't have the option to do like, okay, well, I want to back out because I don't feel like I should be in this spot, for example.
Yeah.
It's very hard to change.
I actually considered that myself.
Yeah.
But I kind of just found myself in a position where I was like, who do I back? Like, who am I to tell, like, to say who is going to be the guy who should take my place, right? I would have to then set up my own qualifier for my ticket for then to have people come in and say, right, it's just, I got super stressed out about, okay, so on the one hand, I don't feel I'm prepared for this, and I don't feel like this spot should have gone to me for this ticket thing. Also because I wasn't motivated at all. I just wanted a fun race that I would like participate in with other good players, and that's fine. Yeah. But since I already have a ticket to ExileCon, I was not incentivized in the least.
Yes.
This time around, because I don't know. I've just been kind of like not in the best place lately. So I don't know. I just wasn't really prepared to practice that much. Wasn't in the right mindset.
Yeah. For me, it was very similar, except so obviously this is not just an ExileCon ticket, flights and accommodations, but it is also an entry to the race finals.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, TGG are holding a huge tournament apparently at ExileCon, which we don't really have any details about. We just know that there's going to be a tournament, and from what I can gather, it sounds like it's just going to be 4 slots. So I'm extrapolating that it's going to be softcore, because a hardcore tournament with 4 people sounds risky, because somebody might not finish, or there will be lots of rerolls, and it would be weird. So that's sort of what I'm guessing. But I was very motivated as soon as I heard that, because obviously I am one of the people who are being flown out to ExileCon by TGG. So, you know, the flights and accommodations, something I already have and I can't really win, but the golden ticket qualifier is something I really want. But yeah,
I mean, it's not to say that I don't want that. It's,
right.
I don't get the wrong impression. It's just I've been kind of under the weather recently.
No,
due to personal reasons. So I just haven't been in there. I mean, I've been an avid racer for a long time, and I really love I love winning, right? I wanna come back again and do well. But this wasn't the one. And then getting all that flack for it, then on top of that, honestly, the thing that got me the most was just Carv's. Like, I talked to Carv about this as well. It's just like his personal jab at me in particular, from someone I actually really respect, was something that really that got to me more than anything. Yeah. And then the pylon was just like a little bit too much for me.
I mean, it is very like, I don't know. It's people are like a little bit crazy on like Reddit and stuff like that, and forget that we read these comments, right? And sure, like for some people that might be easy to shrug off, like, oh, this like Dark Rail guy saying I'm a shit racer and I should kill myself. But you know, when you're reading like 100 and 200 comments on this, and at least for me, it's really easy to shrug it off if it's like a downvoted comment. If someone's going like, oh, Zizaran is fucking horrible, I hate him, I wish the worst for him, and that's downvoted by 30 comments, that's easy for me to shrug off. But when it's the top voted thing on Reddit, then makes me feel like, oh, this is a popular opinion, this is the common like view of the people, so to say. Because obviously, like, I mean, I like making fun of Reddit a lot, but I'm on Reddit all the time, and a lot of my viewers are, so it's everyone, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely easy to let that affect you, in my opinion. I haven't figured out how not to let it
is.
affect me, at least.
No, it's really tough. And I mean, everything in your bones should tell you that you shouldn't let it get to you. Because then I made a Twitter post, and I just kind of wanted to vent in the situation, and I didn't think it would get like I didn't think people would really care too much about it. It's like, oh shit, he's having a bad time. Well, like buck up, we'll see you soon, right? I just wanted to like let people know that I was gonna be gone for like a few days.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got so much love from so many people. I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. Right, I'm not really all the negativity that came my way has been pretty much negated by all the positivity coming my way at the same time.
Yeah, no, that is really nice. And there's a couple of times we've seen this in like the PoE community. Like obviously, I had a similar thing around the method races, and then Siggy had like a similar thing where he like posted he was having a hard time. And generally, like, it is really beautiful to see like so many people take their time and like send positive emails, messages, or just reply on a Twitter, stuff like that. It like really does like affect our days, at least my day. So that's important. Generally, you do have like negativity is easier to vocalize than positivity, and a lot of people are like, it'll be weird to say that, but it is appreciated.
Oh, for sure.
But moving forward, what are you hoping for the future qualifiers and stuff?
I hope for them to be open. I think that's the main thing, right? We want to engage as much as the community as possible. We want them to make it. I would really hope that they go out on a limb, making it accessible and make it easy to participate if people want to, right? If someone's sitting there and saying, I actually have a shot, I've been practicing for a couple of months, I know there are some people out there who hasn't been on the racing seat at all, but they're putting out good times. I think Saya was putting out some like really good times from what I remember him telling me, and I mean, why shouldn't he have a shot?
Right.
I mean, anyone who can actually go out there and put out a good time should have the opportunity. That's the one thing I hope the most, right? Make it inclusive rather than exclusive. That's like the one thing I want them to do.
Yeah, I
want them to also go ahead and actually create some good infrastructure for it. I think if they are having a real like a golden ticket race and they're hyping it up, it's on them to set this up as well.
So here's an interesting thing. Obviously, we don't know what the ExileCon ticket is going to be, or like the ExileCon race itself. Do you think all the qualifiers and do you think all the qualifiers has to be exactly the same format as the final tournament, or do you think they'll be like fairly different to like that? As an example, well, like this isn't even going to be the same patch, right?
Yeah.
Like say every race right now is going to be an Act 10 Kitava, right? Or something like that, Act 5, Act 10 Kitava, and we're all using Stormbrand. We're like vroom, but then whatever patch we're going to be doing the actual tournament in, everybody's racing Sunder. So
I see what you're getting at here. I mean, that makes the beat race make a little bit more sense, I would say, because, and I mean, I will say, let's not focus on me here, but I mean, I have actually been able to race in like multiple different classes and such, and I think everyone who participated in that race was in a position where they were accomplished racers across the board. So if they are mixing it up a little bit, at least there you're certain that people who enter will have will be able to partake regardless whatever the race ends up being. But what will the format be? Because that's the reason why it's a good question is because if people are practicing for one format and then they change it up at the actual event, then what was the point of the qualifier?
Yep, that's sort of the way I wanted to hear your take on it as well. It could be completely different, and if we're like we don't really have that much like in the way of options right now. Right? Like the most common race right now is an Act 5 or Act 10 Kitava race. That's sort of the main goals we have. Or a level 80 race. There's like, it's sort of limited what we can do. Regardless of like gating it behind skills and stuff, just like the target. Whereas, you know, it would be, in my opinion, I wish the racing scene had come a little further along. And by that I mean specifically help from grinding gear games. So we had like the
Yeah.
option of, you know, okay, and I was gonna say Endless Ledge, but that's a horrible example. But like Descent or Descent
Mm-hmm.
Suffering, like any of the different ones. So you just have to practice on everything, and you don't know if you're getting Act 5 Kitava, Act 10 Kitava, Descent, Blamped. Like, okay, not Blamped, but you know, there's that there would be more
Could be
options.
blamed. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, that would be nice.
Yeah.
That would definitely be nice. I think it's something they need to be very, like with how the beat race ended, or with how like it was perceived and how they structured it. I think it's something they need to be very careful going forward with what they actually have in mind. I think there needs to be a red line from qualifier to final event. There has to be, it has to make sense all the way through. I do think, like, on that note, I think the beat race, from what I heard, because I didn't really watch much of it because I was kind of tilted on that evening, but I've only heard good things about the actual production of it.
Yeah.
And people were really, like, they were really enjoying it. They were really entertained. So on that note, they did really well. So we just need to get the structure right.
Yeah, I actually watched, I skimmed through the race 1 and 2, and I watched a lot of the finals. There was like a bug where the camera wasn't constantly focused on me, but that's, you know, I'll let that slide.
Okay.
But honestly, like the beat guys, they did a great job. Like the camera work and stuff was really good.
They had like instant replay, right?
Yes, instant replays was
Oh
really
my
cool.
God.
And obviously, I'm very interested in all this because I'm one of the people who's like we're all going to be arranging like the method races and stuff like that, which is going to be similar, except, you know, hopefully open to everybody. But stuff like that, and then yeah, I thought it was really great, and I want to like give a big shout out to both Ziggy and Rise QT, who did an amazing job as shoutcasters.
Yeah.
And my favorite moment was when I overtook Ty, and Rice just like screamed out like, "Ziz just overtook Ty!" And you could just hear the like excitement in his voice. Like it was really good. Definitely got a natural talent for him. I think they mesh really well together as well. I would like in the future love to see some other combos too, like, you know, potentially like Waggle and Siggy, Rise and Cute Dog. Like I think there's a lot of other people in the community that would be potentially like very, very good shoutcasters that I would love to see. And I think potentially PoE is a very hard thing for other people to come in and shoutcast.
Yes, I think you're right. It's actually, yeah.
Because in things like Overwatch and Counter-Strike, right? You can learn most of it pretty quickly. But even like think about the think about the significance of just finding a blue, green, a Quicksilver. And while I think as a shoutcaster you can explain it fairly well to your audience, but it's definitely more similar to like the StarCraft level. In my opinion, the most on paper best esport is Counter-Strike. It's so easy as an audience member to understand.
Yes.
Everything is just it's the perfect esport game. I have had a few people arguing that StarCraft is, but StarCraft is in my opinion a terrible esport, even though it's 100% skill based and it's great as a player like on a competitive level. It's just very hard for the audience to understand what's happening if you don't play StarCraft.
I mean, if we look at esports as being equal entertainment as it is being a sport, right? If that's how you look at it, then yes, StarCraft is not the best one because it's all about the shoutcasters being able to present the game to the audience. Where you have Counter-Strike, which is very easy, right? There's two sides, or there's like, where you can plant the bomb. These guys over here, these guys over here. This team wants to enter, bomb the place, done. Very simple, very easy.
Yeah. And it does fairly well as an esport. And obviously some of the arguments that I've heard when I've been trying to push more and more into racing and PoE esport, a lot of people have brought up the point, well, there's too much RNG in PoE for it to be an esport. But and that's like the main argument people have had.
Yeah.
But let's look at the last race, right? It was like Ty, Waggle, and me. Like if I hadn't logged, we would all have been within what 10 seconds of each other. So with all that RNG,
this is not the first time that's happened.
Yes, and this is an 80 races too.
Yes, like seconds of actual like between, and it's the same people who the people who are really putting in the work are the people who consistently get to that point where they're competing within seconds again, like within each other.
Yeah. So,
which is literally the opposite of being RNG.
Yeah. Like it's so tight. The races are always so close. And I'll agree, there's a lot of RNG elements in Path of Exile. And while there could be the potential, like if Ty gets a tabula off Hither, Ty has won that race. I'll agree to that. And there's a few like crazy things like that can happen. Yes. But they haven't really. In all the races, there's been very few. I think there's been like one race where somebody got a tabula and it wasn't particularly early. So I think it's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. You look at other like battle royale esports right now, right? I mean, they have. If you want to say that if they can make it, then we can make it, right? You will drop on a spawn and there's no good weapons, say.
Yeah, that's
whatever,
way worse,
right? It's terrible. How do you recover from it? You don't have good ways of finding yourself out of a rut because you can just get run over without anything to do really. So I mean, PoE at least, I mean, if you don't get boots, there's like tons of ways to optimize how can you get movement speed faster, right? We can check vendors on level ups, make sure to pick up blue, yellow boots. You can craft it as well, and there's just tons of opportunity for you to overcome adversity and overcoming the RNG, which is what PoE is all about. It's all about how do you minimize RNG.
And this is something that should be fairly easy for TGD to do. We have at least had fixed seed on maps and stuff in the past. Now, maybe it's the potential that then in the future they have fixed seed, like, oh, that monster always drops a 2 green, 2 blue, or 2 green, 1 blue short sword, for example. Like, that could be interesting as well.
You could have it as at least a format to try, for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting thing. And obviously, GGG are getting more involved in racing now, which I think is a great thing. They are very hesitant because they seem a little bit like skeptical on how are they going to monetize this. So obviously, racing has been a big part of Path of Exile for a long time, and they were doing it a lot more before. But the problem for grinding your games wasn't that just that they were not gaining much more money, but they were actively losing money compared to just letting the league run its course. Because for all these races, you're not buying microtransactions unless you're a streamer, because nobody's going to see your character in town or anything. And you're not buying stash shops, right? You don't use any stash shops in these races. So moving forward, I hope they get more and more involved. I would love to see something like an extra like battle pass where you can like earn microtransactions for participating in open races.
Oh, for PoE?
Yes, I think that would be amazing. Like, just
we have talked about this before, right?
Like, yeah, like say you're doing a Val race and you get to level 20, you get X amount of points towards winning like a cloak or something.
And also the amount, it would be akin to like a supporter pack, right? But supporting the efforts in PoE racing.
I mean, part of the problem with PoE is the pricing structure is a little unfortunate in PoE. Because how much would a battle pass be? 60, 80, 100, right? Like the reason battle pass works so well for other games is they're like $5 or $10, and you can win like $200, $300, $400 worth of MTX. But how's that gonna work in PoE? So yeah, there's definitely some challenges, but I feel like there's so many like ways they can monetize it.
I see that.
Yeah.
Like, how do you incentivize people to play in this format, and then also incentivize them to actually somehow like spend money?
I mean, there's the battle pass could be in so many ways, right? Like you could earn points for playing an endless ledge to send champions, depending on what boss, what level you get. You don't necessarily have to win. There doesn't even have to be a huge bonus for winning. There can just be like, for example, in
I mean, if they allowed us to make custom races, that would be a direct incentive, right? Because if you're in the battle pass, we can like create all these custom leagues or whatever. I mean, that could be a way. Like you're incentivized to like participate more in racing, meaning that you'll create your own races more. So I mean, that is one way of doing it. Do you think it's ever gonna be like profitable? I mean, do you think it would be, let's say like that they're just riding the margin of where it's profitable? I mean, you might not see it having an effect on your bottom line, but it would create attention to the game at least.
Yeah.
which has to have value in itself, and it's a good thing for your community to give people something to actively engage in.
Yeah. It's hard to tell. Like we don't have the
Yeah.
numbers and stuff.
No.
So I'm always a little surprised like how expensive things are in Path of Exile. To see all these other games. Like obviously like one example for those of you who do have phones is mobile games. If you've ever seen like, and that's why they're called microtransactions. I'd argue the Path of Exile ones are giga transactions. It's like, oh, you want like these badass wings? They'll be $80. You're not eating this week. And while I don't necessarily have a problem with the price, it's a free to play game with very limited like pay to win, and some people argue it's not pay to win with the stash tabs. But regardless of that, they should just be doing whatever they think is going to make the most amount of money, right? They're already providing such a stupid amount of content. That's fine. I don't mind that. But I am curious because you see the mobile games, right? They have like $0.8 and stuff, or $0.2 for things. And they're like making so much money that you have streamers getting offered like $4,000, $10,000, $15,000 an hour to stream mobile games. So they're obviously raking in the money with these like tiny transactions.
Dude, I was talking to a guy who actively plays mobile games. He spent, you might not think there's a lot of money in it per person actually playing, but this guy had spent like 10, 20,000 on a mobile game. And it's like small, I don't know, it's just crazy. So, and it's not even in mobile, it's not even uncommon apparently that people spend an ungodly amount of money. No, this wasn't Crip. This was like, he's the smallest streamer. It's like 200 to 400 viewers consistently. He gets like sponsored content all the time. Dude, mobile, the amount of money people play in these games is absolutely crazy. But it is pay to win.
Yes.
Right? So that's like the thing, right? People are actually paying to be better than everyone else. So there's a different kind of incentive.
Yeah. And like, okay, so I've not used money on a lot of mobile games. I think the only one that I bought something for was a Bethesda Fallout Shelter thing. And I really liked it. And there was something, I think I was like, my stomach hurts and I was on the toilet. I was like, I'm going to be here at least another 20 minutes. And there was like some sort of cooldown thing that started and it said 16 hours or something. And I'm like, I'm not going to be here for 16 hours. And I think it was something like 8 cents or 10 cents to skip it. And I was like, 10 cents? That's not real money. I'm not going to notice 10 cents gone from my account.
Okay.
So it was like, boom, bought it.
That's how it starts.
And that's how it starts. I didn't actually end up using more. I think it may be $1 or something. But like, I've never like spent a lot of money on a mobile game. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. And you do have like other games like Fortnite and Dota. Dota's probably a bad example because they do have like crazy expensive stuff.
Do they?
I mean,
I guess like some of their best MTXs, right? Like that's true.
But I do more prefer that, I think, where it's very varied. There's like lots you can get for fairly cheap. Some of them look really badass. And then you have maybe like, the really exclusive ones. Like, what a badass. He's got the, like, $1,000 wings that no one's going to have. I think I do prefer that.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting to, like, what would make a company the most money? And if they had it cheaper, then it would be so easy. Like, can you imagine if you got to buy, like, a PoE Battle Pass for $10 to $15? And, you could level that up and, like, the total value would be, like, $100, $200, $300 worth of microtransactions. Whereas, if it was now, it would be like, it's costs $110 for the battle pass, and you get wings maybe. It's a bit different in PoE.
I mean, maybe they need to make it so that it's not about microtransactions for the battle pass, but it's for something else, and it just engages you to play more.
Maybe.
Like, let's say, because, right, this is what Challenges does as well, right? They're just there to provide an end game goal for some of the more hardcore players. And a battle pass would be very much akin to that, but for PV or for racing instead, right? And it's just something that you kind of grind through. And by having that incentive of like completing your battle pass, you might not get MTX, but you're playing more. And if you're playing, you're probably also buying something.
Yeah. There's a lot of things they can do with it. And I mean, I'm hoping and wanting so bad that hopefully within a year or two we'll see a regular battle royale mode in PoE. I had so much fun with it. I've heard very few people who didn't have fun with it.
Yeah.
If that's what they did with one day of developer time, imagine what they can do with a week or two.
Yeah.
It's just so great, so fun. I love BRs. Like I really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Oh, that would be fun.
Apex, and I really enjoyed like DayZ, PUBG, and stuff like that. This was way more fun than any of that for me. So
I think actually one thing that I've been secretly wishing for a long time is something akin to, because I mean, GGG came out with Battle Royale, but I've always wanted them to make a what do you call it? So you know we have hideouts that we can customize. I want that for racing, so you can customize your own like descent.
Right. And
how cool would that be?
And that is one of the topics we want to talk about. Obviously, TGD recently announced, see if I can find the exact wording, but they did say they were going to have support for making shorter races. Because obviously the ones right now, they last, I think it's a minimum of 10 days. And while they're relatively cheap in one way, they're also expensive because it ends up with few people paying for all the slots. If everybody paid for their own slot, it's just 60 cents, which is very cheap. But a lot of streamers and community members have ended up paying a lot of the brunt price themselves. I'm somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000 in paying for community events and prizes. So it definitely adds up very quickly, like paying for these slots. There's a couple of ways to fix that. Obviously, if you do like really cheap short races, like 30-minute Val race, $10 for 2,000 slots or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be great. It wouldn't be very intense on the servers. And you could something, and this is something they should have had at launch. I'm like shocked this isn't in, but say Nugi sets up a race, it's open to everybody and you can buy your own slot. If I click enter, it takes 6 points or 60, I can't remember, whatever, 60 cent equivalent points off my account, and it opens the slot and lets me in. That needs to be in, and I'm shocked it's not in already. It's insanity to me.
I agree with that. And then you can have, because if you have that actually, because I think that's a really good idea. If you have that, you could have your list of, right? Someone's going to have a list of all the active leagues that are like interesting to get into.
Yeah.
And then people will just, they will go to all of them, right? And if there's like, that accumulates very fast. If you get like a 50% increase across all the board, because everyone, like, you can just join at your own leisure.
Yeah. There's so many things they can do with it as well. They can like at least give us the option to open the race.
I think that's a great idea. I think that should definitely have that.
Like, and you can still, like, a lot of people saying, well, then you can't control who joins. I mean, you can still keep that. You can have that too.
You can have it open or closed.
Yeah.
It's very easy. If you want it to be an open thing, it's open. If you want to be closed, it's closed. And now you have full control.
Yeah, there's hybrids as well, like saying like, oh, this person's wants to join, and yes, he's okay with paying the fee, except, and it takes 6 off him. And there's also, this is something like for the current system, there's so many people who don't want to join the race, but you know, they just end up buying supporter packs to support PoE and sit there with like 5 or 10,000 points.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes they have to get into the race before they can help fund it.
Yeah.
Which is, is a little frustrating. But it's something I hope that will change. I mean, they did. I'm trying to find exactly what they said about the short races. It was either in the Q&A or the Chris post.
I mean, they've talked about it for quite a while as well, with all this kind of these ideas. They have, like, the thing is, they have so many ideas. Right? I remember talking to Chris like years back about racing, how they wanted to like make it. Obviously from then to now, they realized that it wasn't really a cash cow. It was quite the opposite. So that's probably why they went away from it. But I do know that they have they have the people there with the intention to making this stuff good.
And a lot of people have been complaining about the lack of like options for the current things we have. Like, you know, there's very limited stuff you can do. And then some of the arguments I've seen is that, you know, if there's too fun private leagues, then people aren't going to play the normal leagues. And obviously they do want a very heavy population on, for example, Carnage or Carnage Hardcore. However,
is that confirmed?
No, I'm just feeding into it. I think it's hilarious. I think something that would be a really good compromise between the community and would still keep people playing like the proper leagues is put all the like really crazy or special options behind a 1 month cooldown. That you just say you do give the community the option to make a mayhem or something, that you don't have that option in the first month of a league. That you need to wait for that, and you know, if you want to try out the new league content, you have to wait. And maybe even give the community like a void league. Like, you know, oh, you want to have like quad currency drops but only white items? You can void your race, but you can only do this again 1 month into the league. Because I definitely see the argument for not wanting to split the community.
I can't give this off mine. Like, so with the whole what's the next thing gonna be called? So many people have been said like Amnesia or Dementia League, and I'm like, didn't we just have that? Okay, dudes.
Okay, nice.
But no, I think it's definitely there definitely is a line there that they don't want to cross. They don't want to draw people away. I mean, they already have that problem on hardcore right now. I think I've seen that a lot recently. I mean, you know better than me because you're playing it actively. With the lack of people on the league in terms of trading.
Yeah, me and Daniel are having a great time at hardcore.
Now Flashback as well. Oh god, I can't even imagine like trying to play trader right now.
I know, there's someone bought a map of me earlier.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, no, I was just shocked somebody else was still playing. I mean, I'm completely done with hardcore synthesis now, just because obviously the flashback starting tomorrow.
Wait, what?
No, sorry, 2 days. 2 days for the flashback.
Okay.
But we can talk more about that later.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to see from like the mini races, like the feature there?
The mini races?
Like, yeah, that's what they talked about, that they want to make it easier and more accessible for players to make their own smaller races.
Oh, so you
what are you hoping to see?
So like private races, right? Not private leagues, but private races.
Yes.
What do I hope to see there? I mean, for me, it's all about accessibility. It's all about, especially to start with, it needs to be very easy to set up. I really want them to have a good UI. I think that's like one of the most important things. Like whenever you set it up, it needs to be easy. It needs to be easy to participate. It needs to be able to join. There needs to be just all the features that a regular race would have.
Yeah.
And then just like a wide list of mods we can add to it. That's all we need to start with, and then you can build on that foundation.
I agree. Do you think we're gonna see like really special races like Endless Ledge? Or maybe Endless Delve?
I would doubt it to start. Maybe in the future, because this is the kind of thing that they don't want to. I don't think they want this to be accessible as like a baseline, because it detracts too much from the actual game, right? So, I like this game more and more than anything else, and I can just like play this all the time. Because Descent and those kind of races they give you currency, right? So now you get to experience mirrors and exalts all the time, or it allows you to have infinite, like the infinite ledge. It's just like infinite like zones of monsters just upscaling all the time, which is a game mode that we don't have. So would they allow us to have it in that format? I'm not sure.
I think they will, and I hope they will. I think like custom games is something that's just
they could have it on a timer, maybe.
Yeah.
They could have like a rotating thing that you could buy into. I don't know. I think it's something I would assume that they worry about a little bit. I mean, from a player's perspective, I would love to have it there. I think there were some really well-designed races in the past, so why not give us them?
Yeah.
And again, I mean, I don't know.
Even if they have to, you can gate it behind the 3rd month of PoE. Like, so many
Yeah.
people are already becoming burnt
Yeah.
out then. And I mean, that's where I would want more and more races to happen, which is something I'm obviously working on there. There's just, we have that dead time, and you know,
Yeah.
it would, I mean, obviously as a company, they want to make more money, and they are not necessarily going to be making that of something like flashbacks, or they would have been doing them all the time, right?
Yeah, no, they I think, didn't they say in the past they don't really want to have these as
Yeah.
like they want to not, they want to have like just a natural cycle of like 3 months. We know what to expect, when to expect it. They don't want to like have to have an additional event in the middle of it all, because it just kind of like throws people off.
Yeah, and I mean, that was something very interesting in the GDC talk that Chris had, where they talked about how they were showing like the numbers for these releases, and they were awful, right? The 1 month hardcore, and like Dark Shrine, Chris even like personally attacked me and said Dark Shrine was 3 people's favorite league, my favorite league. So you know, it definitely doesn't do well numbers wise. So hopefully, you know, like if they can do like something where they're incentivizing their community to do things. We've generally seen very, very big popularity with that, because obviously the first time they put in private leagues, I made one and it filled up, literally instantly filled up to 1,000 people. And then I was like, Chris, please let us have 2,000 in these leagues. And he was like, okay, you can get up to 2,000 now. And then 6 minutes later, I was like, Chris, okay, there's 2,000 now. Can I have 3? And he was like, no, you can't. Like, it's a bit of a weird system. It's gonna be bad for the servers. We have to work on it more. But yeah, hopefully this is something that'll expand, because I have a feeling that we could definitely have player leagues with up to 10,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could. I mean, it has to be in their interest as well, though, right? At some point, I mean, it makes the money
I
at the
hope
same
so.
time. I mean, that would be the idea, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little worried because they did put this in to make money. And I feel like if it was making the money, this would be a really high priority and we would see loads of stuff rolling out for it. So the fact that we have not seen barely any changes since the launch of this system, I feel like it's not making them money, or it would have been a lot better by now.
I don't know if this, and like I'm just speculating here, I don't know if this is like, I feel like this is like a running theme with GGG. They put in a lot of features and then it just kind of sits there and never gets...
Yep.
And never really gets up, like it doesn't receive additional work. It either gets cut down to its basics or it's just kind of forgotten about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. I agree.
I would really love to see more just of things they can see that there's a legit interest in, to just, I don't know, put some more work into it, make it good, make it great.
Yep. It's I'm excited for the next league. Let's put it that way. It'd be interesting to see what they do. But I think I think that's a good note to call it on, so we don't end up just like recycling the same topics on topic 2.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the third topic, which is we're going to talk all about the Flashback, which is coming now in 2 days on Friday or Saturday if you're in New Zealand or Australia. And yeah, do you want to give us a TLDR of what the Flashback is, Nugi?
Oh God, I mean, it's been a long time since we had a flashback, right?
How is
the thing is, I gotta be honest here, I haven't actually like looked into how the whole flashback event is coordinated. The only thing people normally care about is what is the percentage of beyond that we get this time.
Yes. So while that was actually just like a quick distraction for me while I opened up the actual flashback event page.
Oh, okay.
So for those of you who don't know what a flashback is, it is one of the popular like event leagues that they run in the 3rd month of a league. And the way it works is that every zone, so for example the beach or a mud geyser map or a dunes, they all get 3 three
Oh, so we
different
get
past
three
leagues.
different ones. Okay.
So, for example, it can choose Anarchy, Invasion, and Breach, and those three will be active there for the entire hour. And what does that give you, you ask? Well, it gives you 2 additional Exiles, 2 additional Invasion monsters, and 1 additional Breach. And then there is a full list, which is you can get 2 additional Strongboxes, you can get 3 additional Spirits, you can get 2 Piranha's Chests and a 33% chance to spawn Kadiro. You can get Beyond, which is 13%. You can get 3 additional rare monster packs with Nemesis monsters. You can get 3 additional magic monster packs with Bloodlines, 1 additional Abyss, and 2 additional Harbingers. These are all like the different ones that we can have, and you can get 3 of those per zone at the same time. Now, what that ends up meaning is for the entirety of the flashback, so many players are just chasing Beyond. We're going, what map has Beyond?
Especially now, right? When they changed Beyond to actually drop maps as well, it's like the god tier.
Yes.
Yeah. What are you gonna be chasing?
So, well, I want to like, that's the next topic. I want to like explain a little bit more about the demigods as well, which is part of the flashback. And do you want to explain demigods?
Demigods? Well, sure. So demigods is an item you can obtain by being, well, it used to be number 1, but this time they're allowing, so the top 3 of every single ascendancy, right? Ascendancy? Yes. Will receive an alt art. And is it top 10 that just receives...
What's an alt art, Nugi, for this?
Alt art, well, so... There is a demigod's item, which is just it's an item with a special skin that you can wear, and usually makes you bigger or has some kind of glow. And then there's an alternative version as well for the people who win. Essentially, it used to be when it came out, it was something we received if you were in the top 20.
Yep.
And then also if you were top 3 of the. What were they called again? The seasons? Like if you ranked...
Yes, if you were... I think it was only rank 1 of a class.
It was only rank 1 of the class that got one? Okay.
I think
so it was just a special version of a demigod that you would obtain by being on the top bracket within the racing.
Yes. And it basically acts as a big trophy to show off. And you can buy them off other players. Something that's changed slightly with demigods recently is that not all the old ones have this, but the newer ones, they all have like engraving at the bottom that it says, for example, rank 1 trickster in the event. So
I think they've had that ever since the racing stuff.
I have.
Yeah, they have, because when we used to have the what were they called? The we just raced for the specific one, like that one type of event.
I definitely have a lot without it on, so I can't remember when it got in.
I got one from PvP at least, where there's like engraving for me.
Oh. Yeah, I think they just didn't do it for everything, but most they did do now.
Okay. Signature races.
Yes.
That's the thing.
That's it. And there's, like they're really cool. I really like collecting them.
So there's gonna be engraving on these ones, right?
I bet. I would be very surprised if there wasn't. And this is a fully new one. So for a very long time, we had chests, demigod dominances, and they were probably the one that went on for like the longest. They are now, you can never get them anymore. The only way to obtain one is to buy one. They're like fully legacy now. You can never again earn a demigod's dominance.
This is also one of the features about demis, is that once they... At least there was the intended one. Like some of these are like they're what do you call it? They're like exclusive to those events. You'll never get them again.
Yeah.
Whether or not this one will be recycled, I mean, it could be. We don't know. Probably will be.
Oh yeah.
But it's all about getting them while they're, available, while they're there, if you want to get one and make sure. I mean, if you don't want to trade, if you want to earn one yourself.
And there are also, before we move on to our goals, there are also a lot of other stuff you can win. If you say you're sitting there thinking like, well, I'm not going to get rank 1 of an ascendancy, which for a lot of the ascendancies includes you most likely need a level 100, or at least level 98 or 99 to lock it in. Some of the like less popular ascendancies, especially on like solo self-found synthesis, for example, would probably only be 97. But it is definitely a hard grind to get up there. But they do have other rewards. So the way it works is at level 35, you guarantee get a mystery box. And then you can level up to 45. And now they're giving away
You enter
700.
a raffle.
Yes. So you have a chance, depending on how many people get level 45, to win, fire footprints, light footprints, ice footprints, or seraph footprints. Then 55, there's some skulls. 65, there's portals. 75, there are wings. 85, even more wings. And then 95, you have a chance to win full armor sets. And they're the Gothic, Ice, and Lightning armor sets. So a lot of people get confused and think this is something, ooh, am I guaranteed to get this if you're 95? No, this is like raffled out. And not just, this is not something you can go like, ooh, hardcore solo self-found and have a bigger chance to get. This is, it's 375 of each of the 3 sets. So a little over 1,000. And they're raffled out. Hardcore synthesis, softcore synthesis, solo self-found, all of them. So it's only a chance that you can get it. Whereas the demigods, they are league specific. So if you get first level 100 Hierophant on hardcore, you can also get that on softcore.
Yes.
Whereas, so you don't really have an edge for the random draws for playing solo self-found. Whereas on demigods, you can.
Yeah, for sure. And in terms of like, what are your odds of getting one of these? I can tell you this: I've been in the top bracket raffle multiple times, and I've never gotten one. So, don't be afraid that I'm gonna yoink yours, because I'm definitely not.
Yeah, I don't think they've changed it, but multiple characters usually are. Yes, if I level multiple characters, will I have a greater chance of winning the prize? Yes, every character you level will be independently in the pool. There was one of these flashbacks I went super ham on. I think I had 7 level 95 plus characters, and I think I won one. I think I did. It was footprints or something, not a full set. So definitely a small chance.
Yeah.
But it's a chance. It's just free extra bonus stuff they're giving us, which is pretty sweet.
With the perception right now that PoE is dead and Synthesis is dead, there's probably a higher chance this time around, because apparently nobody's playing, right? So I mean, this is the one. If there's ever a flashback event for you to go ham in, this is the one if you want to win something.
That's true. I mean, they're giving away 1,000. You know what? And maybe it's not a raffle this time, because it's 1,075. Armor sets. Are there gonna be 1,075 people hitting 95 plus? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, there's me, Dan, and Embu playing hardcore right now. So, how many people play softcore? Can't be more than 40, right? No, it'll definitely bring a lot of people back and level up to 95. It is very fun, because regardless,
these are really fun.
Yeah, regardless if you hate. Like, for example, Synthesis, it's been getting a lot of flack. A lot of people don't like it. I think we can all agree that the game is still fucking amazing. So even if they just, like, did a full reset with nothing special, and sure, like, the Flashback isn't, like, the most exciting mods. It's not a mayhem, which we're going to talk about later. The game is in a really good state. It's fun. And the reset is very exciting. And, watching everybody on the ladder go higher, I really like it. So,
no, it's always fun. Ladder resets are always fun. Yeah. It's the bread and butter of PoE.
Yeah. I mean,
at least for us, it is.
Yes, that's true. I mean, they can miss on a league now and again. It's still good that they're trying to do elaborate stuff.
Yeah.
So what are your goals for this flashback?
I just want to have fun, honestly. I'll probably go for see if I can get an old art demi. That's gonna be like the main goal. Find like a nice build. I think I kind of want to just find a good build that I haven't played in a while, and see if we can't make something happen with that. And yeah, let's push for a demi.
Nice. I'm gonna go pretty ham. I'm getting a demi, like an altar demi. I'm getting at least one. I'm gonna go super ham. I'm most likely going Elementalist Winter Orb or Trickster Winter Orb. So If you're playing Hardcore Soul Self-Found and you really want a demi and you don't have that much time, you know, I wouldn't casually push for those. That's gonna be hard. I really enjoy Winter Orb and I want to go fast, so I was thinking I'm gonna go Elementalist Winter Orb, Trickster Winter Orb, and then maybe either Pathfinder or Deadeye Winter Orb, because I like some Winter Orb, so I might do some more Winter Orb. And yeah, my main goal is getting 3 alt-art demis. For me, this is something that's really exciting. So definitely something I want to push for. And this like increases your size as well.
Yes. Yeah, the demi.
Yeah. Which is really
exciting.
Cool. So this will be most likely like the dominance does not. The chest does not increase your size, which is really boring. I think they all should.
But it does have a cool skin though, right? That one looks really nice. The chest piece.
Right. Well, I'm never gonna ask you for your opinion on decorating or anything, but
I think it looks really cool.
I mean, everyone likes different stuff, right? I mean, I saw you eat that raw beef thing, so I'm not sure we have the same taste, Nugi.
What? Okay, so Mr. Zizaran over here doesn't like tartar.
No, that's like weird. Oh. Medium rare, please. Cook my food. But yeah, no, it's not a fan. I am very excited though. Like, see, yeah, I love Winter Orb, man. I might play something else, but I doubt it. There's not really a reason to. Especially like this is all for me. This is all about winning.
If it's just about winning, then there's no reason to.
Yeah. Oh, Berserker Winter.
I mean, you can. The sad thing is, you can do Winter Orb on every single ascendancy.
Yeah.
I mean, can you think of anything where you couldn't do Winter Orb?
A level 27 character.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Everything can go Winter Orb.
Yeah. No, and more importantly, like so many ascendancies are actually good with it. Like you have Hierophant Winter Orb, which would be good. You have Deadeye, you have Pathfinder. Sure, would it be amazing on Gladiator? Maybe not.
Gladiator is probably the worst one of all of them.
Gladiator and maybe Juggernaut Champion too isn't really that good.
Yeah.
Champion probably has more. I think
what?
Gladiator.
You don't think Juggernaut? It has like the big AoE and everything.
Oh yeah,
like super tank. No, it's not what?
Yeah, okay.
It's just fine.
Okay, yeah, I think Gladiator is probably the worst. I think Champion's better. Necro would be decent too.
Yeah. No, Necro's fine.
But yeah.
Necro's probably not as good as it used to be in like regular casters, because you can't abuse the what's it called? The offerings as much anymore.
That's true. Yeah. Assassin would be fine, but yeah, no, like it's sort of a good thing for me because a lot of people doesn't like War, but I love it. For me, it's like the most fun I've had in an RPG since Frozen Orb in Diablo 2.
Oh, really?
I wish Winter Orb was never added to the game, simply because it is too fun. It is too enjoyable. I have a hard time playing other skills now. I wish it didn't exist. There's a lot of things they can do to nerf it as well. Like they could make projectiles not stack. They could make projectile speed matter at all. So you actually had to get projectile speed.
I can just get rid of all the boom boom, or make the boom boom not scale or something. I think that's like the main issue here. Winter Orb is like it's the best facilitator for boom booms. And when I talk about boom, okay, so I'm talking about explosions. So like monster explosions. So whenever you kill something, the way people set up their mapping builds is that they will create some kind of explosion of a kill, like on-kill explosion, and they will scale that explosion to the extent that that one guy dying will then kill everything around itself, and that'll like cascade out. So you kill one thing, and one of the things that Winter Orb struggles with is target caps, right? Yeah. There's only so much you can hit all the time with Winter Orb. It's like a small little AoE, and if it doesn't immediately blow everything up, then it has to like retarget. So once you end up in a point where the skill needs to start retargeting, then it starts falling off. So the whole idea is that you make Winter Orb one shot the first pack or the first set of monsters, which then creates an explosion that cascades through everything. And that's kind of where we're at right now in PoE as well. Yeah. So if you want to make a good build, make sure you have explosions.
Yeah, basically. Herald of Ice coming in very strong. Works
Yeah.
really good with a couple of ascendancies too.
Yep.
But yeah, let's explain. Besides just telling everybody to spam and go Winter Orb, let's talk a little bit about tips and tricks for doing well in the actual flashback. And this depends. Like, there's a lot of different goals you can have. You can go for the demis, and you can just also have fun with like crafting or making currency. Some people want to make currency for standard. I like to make fun of standard a lot, but there are a lot of people that do play standard. So there's a lot of good goals that you can have. Generally, I prefer going for demis, and this is something that is fairly obtainable. As even if you're not a racer, as long as you have like, I wonder what do you think is like the cap for how many hours do you need per day to actually get a demigod, and what for an alt art demigod?
For an alt art,
So you probably need like six or 7 hours a day, or at least 5.
yes. I would probably, if you want to like give yourself a good shot, you probably want like 8.
Yes.
I think 6, 7, you're like on the lower. It needs to be a very unpopular class that you're picking.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure someone else doesn't come in and like sweep you afterwards.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, right? If you're the guy who's like, oh, I'm going to pick the most unpopular class, right, where there's the least competition, then that might, on the second go round, might actually be the most attractive one for someone who's trying to sweep multiple ascendancies. So be very careful that you don't pick something that is not contended at all. Like, pick something like in the middle of the pack, I would say.
Yeah.
And make sure that you have an edge somehow with a good build, or you're very consistent, you're fast. Like, make sure you're like doing good.
Yeah. Because I have several friends who do have like full-time jobs, and they've been managing to win like alt art demis in the majority of these. And like some of these are like have some racing experience, but they're not like, you know, they're not getting top 10 in racers. But even if you're doing like 6 hours a day, I have like friends who have won alt art demis because they've just stuck to that one character the entire time, had a plan, and like just grinded it out, right? Solo self on softcore is probably the biggest chance to like just, my goal is a demi.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And then it's very interesting. It's very interesting how it's going to be. And like, there's been, I think the most alt art demis I've had in a race has been 3. So that meant like that was
I think I remember that one.
Mayhem, I think, where I won. First I won
The Spark guy? Was that the one?
No, was it Inquisitor or Elementalist? And then I rerolled Trickster, and then I rerolled Berserker.
I remember
so I was able to get rank 1 on all those 3. And obviously, you know, if one person had been pushing the Berserker, for example, then there would have been no way for me to.
But you see, this is where you went in and swept the Berserker, right? Because it was the least contended one.
Yeah.
So that's why some people were actually pushing for that, and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna be easy. Nobody's." Then you came around like, "Whoops, that's mine now."
Yeah. But it definitely is, and a normal demi is very, very obtainable for somebody with a full-time job as well. Like, you need to have a plan. You're not going to be able to like swap characters, but it is something.
Yeah.
Is it top 10 or top 30?
See if I can Let me see. I have the post right here.
Top 10.
4 to 10 will receive a regular one.
Yes.
1 to 3, alt art.
Yeah. So top 10.
Xbox and PlayStation 4 will also getting their own. So maybe that's how you get it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, should be even less contention there.
Nice.
Do you think that's going to be SSF, standard, Xbox, and PlayStation?
Probably.
Maybe that's where you go. If you really want to win one.
I don't know. I haven't looked into the console stuff at all. Does not concern me. I don't like console controllers. It's laggy and
we're just here to win demis. So we're trying to like figure out what is the easiest way that you can get.
The thing is though, you can never have those on PC. They're just on your console.
You can like, I don't know, take a picture of it. Make a like painting and hang it like behind you. Then everyone can see it.
Always know.
Yes.
So the most contested ones is Elementalist, Trickster.
Yes.
Inquisitor.
Yes.
Scion.
Those are probably the 3 most. Scion not so much anymore after they changed the Slayer.
But you can respec.
I mean, it's
the only ascendancy you can respec. It's usually fairly popular. Oh, that's actually worth mentioning. you cannot go from Elementalist to an Occultist in this race. You can reassign your points within your Ascendancy, but you can never change your core Ascendancy. So you would have to level up a new character.
Oh yeah, an occultist.
Yeah.
Notice that all of these are spellcasters.
Yes.
Just for anyone thinking that it should go to anything else but spellcasters, you shouldn't. If you want to win, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're on like, I mean, I'm even thinking like, because I'm kind of wanting to run a bow character, but even for me, if I was going say Deadeye, I mean, will it just be better to go Winter or Deadeye? Like realistically, it might actually be.
I mean, Deadeye is going to be my third character, I think.
Hmm.
My third character is going to be Winter.
I mean, I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
You can get the second one.
Nice. We'll see. I'm gonna go ham, dude. I'm hype. I'm very hype.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can't make up my mind with like Trickster or Elementalist, because I watched Rise play Trickster and a few other people, and it just looks immortal. It's still like that death kind of baffled me, but it just looks immortal. It's so crazy. Whereas Elementalist, it's like, oh, you looked at your water bottle, okay, you're dead. Have fun.
Yeah. No, Trickster's really strong. I mean, what would be okay? Since if we're trying to like figure out, let's say we're going away from like the optimal Winter Orb kind of builds, what would you go with?
If I'm not doing Winter Arm.
Yeah.
So is this to win a demi, or? Because if so, you have like the bow builds, like bow dead ice would be really strong.
Yeah. Okay.
Blade Vortex, which is melee Winter Orb.
Yes.
Herald of Agony, very very strong, and you can use that on Gladiator, Jug Slayer.
But do you think Herald of Agony even contends? Like, do you think it's fast enough?
I mean, you're basically just running and it's killing stuff. It's not
Yeah,
super fast, but you're not gonna die.
That is true. That's a good build if you're trying just to survive, right? Survive the pack, and then win by never dying and being consistent.
I guess it is a bit slow. You need explosions, which only Occultist gets. Yeah.
And even then, it's not, because I've played Winter or not Herald of Agony on like 6 different ascendancies. The fastest ones are the Cultist, and it wasn't like very fast. And I was doing a lot to try and give it explosions and AOE and attack speed.
Yeah.
And it was like
Lightning Trap. It's pretty fast, I guess.
Yeah.
Totem characters. It's fairly good.
Yeah.
Trying to think
What kind of totem would you make?
I would probably do Freezing Pulse. I feel like Freezing Pulse got buffed past Frostbolt a little bit. I usually prefer Frostbolt, but just aesthetically and the fact that it's the same damage regardless of how far away they are. It's very hard to get decent speed on your Frostbolts, I feel.
Oh, now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I like the Freezing Pulse. I've always been a fan of Freezing Pulse. And especially now. Like, now it should just be straight up better. I think you're right with that.
Yeah.
Any other totems you would make? Have you
Winter
tried
totems?
Have you tried the new totem at all? I don't know if it's any
Purifying
good.
Flame?
Probably. Yeah.
Or no, the Holy Flame Totem.
Wait. Yeah.
I've used it a little bit at low levels. The level 1 damage is bonkers. I was experimenting for using it just to get more Brutus and more Merveil damage. And yeah, it is pretty good, and it's only a wisdom. So I probably will continue experimenting with that. I just need to like get it part of my routine. It seems really good from what I've heard. Like, you're getting LMP for free, and you can get TMP with a jewel, I guess, the +2 projectiles thing. So I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have that, like, what's it called again? The one that's like 30% less damage.
Oh, I don't remember. I like it. I use it on bow builds as well. What's it called? I don't remember. It's good though.
Yeah.
What about Arc? Do you think Arc is any good anymore?
I probably wouldn't do Arc on totems. I'm not sure. I mean, they did just like nerf the clear speed of it. So maybe this is Rain of Splinters, that's it. I don't know, it's just the clear speed that's down. So it should still be good, especially if you have explosions, I guess. Like Herald of Ice or Feltus.
Yeah.
I honestly just haven't tried Arc.
Yeah, I haven't really played it. recently.
But there's a lot of good
It's not
skills
that
you can do. You
appealing
can do
anymore.
divine ire totems. They're really fun. They're a
Right.
little bit like old flame blast, where they
Big
don't like
damage.
detonate as
Yeah.
fast as they should. I love flame
Oh,
blast
so
totems.
they linger a little bit on
Yes.
reaching max stacks?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
that's kinda
seems
annoying.
like it.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like they're
An
fun.
option.
They're really
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. So and there's like there's so many. You can just slap most skills on totems and they're fine.
Yeah.
Um.
Especially like with multiple totems as well now. Like there's
So like if I
good
wanted to
options.
recommend like three like good starter builds and that I have guides and stuff for already.
Hmm.
I'd recommend Bane. It's really good if you're going like solo self-found. Like it's so easy to get off the ground. And the Dodra's Scorn is like really common, so you're fairly likely to find one. And that just then you don't need a 5 or 6 link. You can just throw everything in a Dodra's Scorn. That's something I recently did as a play with me where I had like a 10 or 20C budget, and I was like, wow, this works so good on SSF. Winter Orb obviously is really, really strong. That's going to be a lot more competitive. Also something I have a guide for. And yeah, Hierophant Totems as well. It's something I'm most likely going to do in the play with me tomorrow. Which what I was thinking as a last minute idea is obviously not that many people are gonna looking to make new characters in Synthesis right now, but I'm changing my Play With Me podcast tomorrow for the flashback, where I'm gonna do like a practice warm up for the flashback. So I'll be doing a complete SSF character with a 0C budget and showing everybody how I would build a Hierophant Templar to level 80 to give you guys like a little like extra benefits for the flashback for those of you who want to join for that.
Is that like self-casting? That you're gonna be doing? Like a self-cast Hierophant?
No, I think I'm actually gonna do a totem character.
You're gonna do totems, okay. Okay.
And just like give some tips and tricks for flashback in what I would do if I was playing this.
I think if we're going to like talk about what's gonna help people the most, I think we should also talk about what kind of mods you should be looking for. Like what are the optimal setups? Well, this I will say though that this kind of hinges on what kind of build you're running as well though. On just before we do that though, I think since you're like the synthesis player here, anything explosion, what you call maces and bows, how do we create those?
So
and it's pretty easy, right?
Explosion maces is just any shaper mace, specifically not a scepter, any mace. And the easiest way to get the fire explosion scepters is shaper mace with yeah, I think I actually said scepter there, but you cannot get scepter.
No,
only mace. So like
mace.
An actual hitting, slapping mace with the, I think it's reduced stun threshold implicit that they have or something. And like maybe some attack speed. Anyway, any mace works.
Very high strength requirement though, so just be.
If you get a low level one, they're super worth. Like if you get like a mace, like one of the starter maces, but they're shaped, that's really rare, but worth a lot. The easiest way to roll the fire explosion, especially in SSF, like obviously one option is spamming ults. That is horrible. That's what you want to do for multi-modding. But if you can get a scorched and a prismatic fossil, that's like a 25-30% chance every time you do it to get it. And then you also have a big chance of getting fire and elemental penetration. So definitely recommend that. It's very easy. I've done it in races. I've done it in several things now. And yeah, it's really good. Now, the fire explosion does not chain off itself. So that means that if you're killing a big pack of porcupines and say your arc kills 3 of the porcupines, they will explode and leave no corpses. But then your fire explosion kills the other 10 porcupines. Their corpses will, you know, blow up into the quills and they can kill you. Now, there is another explosion we have access to as well, which is through synthesis, and this is with 15, 15, 10 light radius. And if it chooses the 15, 15, 10 light radius then, which is 45, it will give you a fist explosion. Now this chains off itself, and you can get it on you can get it on bows, weapons, axes, pretty much anything, because everything has the light radius roll, and that chains off itself. So if you kill a monster, it has a domino effect and it'll explode the corpses of everything. However, I think this explosion is currently bugged and does not work on totems and traps, whereas the fire explosion does.
But if you're playing anything but totems and traps, and you're playing something that is not a regular clear speed skill, you should definitely look into getting, like, if you want to get a demi, look into getting some explosions on your build. And I think if you have the minion nodes especially, that gives you minion damage, that is insane. I've seen Uber. So Uber has like a mirror arrow, blink arrow build, which has a bow, where he's using these explosions, and apparently he's doing 95% of monster damage or monster health as damage.
Wow.
And it is absolutely insane.
That's crazy.
Yes, no, he kills one thing, and it's the funniest explosion as well, because it kind of just goes pop, and it just the creature, it just kind of disappears.
I need to see that. That sounds amazing.
No, it's actually insane.
That sounds really good. I want to see that. That is harder to get. It's not an SSF option in my opinion. I've been looking. Oh, it sort of is, I guess, because you could. Force craft light radius is like not a fractured stat, but getting 3 fractured items to guarantee that you get it, very, very dangerous or hard to get. I mean, I've not been able to get one.
Can we filter synthesis items yet? Is that a thing at all?
I don't think so.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, can we filter like if we just want to see bows, can we do that?
I don't think so. I think they're, I don't know. Don't think so.
Wow.
Okay. Synthesis, however, is very good. In the flashback, definitely something I recommend. Both through like get maps and currency. Like, it's very worth. If you like gave up on synthesis because it was awful and fucking not enjoyable to play at all, then definitely give it another try if you haven't after the patches, because it's not perfect, but it's a lot better now. It's very profitable, even if you don't understand the fractured crafting. Yeah. So worth doing in the flashback for sure. Something you can do as well is say you're in tier 10 maps, right? You can take your tier 10 map Nexus piece, and you like say you get one with 4 sides. You can use that, touch a memory with it, and something you can do now in the new Nexus is you can put it back in your stash sort of, and then you can use something like a lower one to travel there. Then you basically have infinite tier 10 maps. And you can ask me to show that, or Nugi to show that, and we can show you on our streams as well how to do it.
Yeah, it's really, really, really powerful.
Yeah. So basically infinite, and you can do that with like tier 16s.
Well, when you say infinite, so you will just keep one high piece that can always be able to connect to one of the reward nodes, and you just link it up with that first, so you then force that area to become that higher level. And so it's not really infinite, since you need to. It's just a way to guarantee that every single reward spawn gets to the highest level of maps that you've been in. That's what you get.
It's very useful, especially in these flashback races. It definitely gives you an advantage where you can just turn everything into. If you manage to get like an Elder Orb, obviously in solo self-found, then having access to this like infinite resource, very big, very big,
very, very, very big.
Yeah. Did you actually have some builds you want to recommend to people for this?
Oh, I mean, I haven't really gone over like any builds that I wanted to set up. I mean, Toxic Rain is always like a strong starter if you want to go like non-spells. Then you can always transition that into either like Lightning Arrow or KB or something. So those are always nice. If you're SSF, I think a lot can be done with leaving yourself with an option to go either way depending on what you drop. Like a Lionized Glare could then say, oh, now we can go bow, or a Piscator's Vigil, now we can go KB. So leaving yourself with like an option there. You can do that on like Reindeer and Deadeye, probably Champion as well. What else could we go? I mean, melee is kind of just in a weird spot. It's probably not going to be
a little too powerful. I'm not sure it's ethical to play melee. It's just too strong right now.
Yeah. So if you put yourself in a kind of a weird spot if you play melee, just know that. Saboteur, yeah, traps in general. Lightning, the lightning traps are very good. I don't know if the other traps are good.
Minions
I do
are
know
nice.
that the lightning traps are good. Yeah, minions are
Solar
good as well,
guards.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
if there's any.
a lot of
It's like
options.
just money, like if you really want to. The problem is right now is that we're in a spot that if you are on any classes and you're going for demis and you want to win, you kind of have to go Winter Orb.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just that much better than everything else, and it kind of pains me to say Stormbrand is good to start, but you run into problems later on, which is it doesn't have like auto targeting as you're running through, and you need to reposition them.
Yeah, and the brand recoil's just not fast enough.
Yes, exactly. So you will always be slower in the end game, and it's more of it's not as forgiving a skill in terms of like playing tired if you're that kind of player
And
who likes to just so Winter Orb is kind of king there, but chain is very good, so anything with like very high AoE and off-screen potential, which is like bow skills and KB, is something that has high potential, but it's harder to pull off, so you have to like have a strong build set up around it to make sure it works.
Yeah.
And I think with those skills especially is that you need to set up your atlas for it as well, because they don't do that well against certain bosses. They don't do that well in certain maps. Also, one of the reasons why bows are good is because you have Mirage Archer, so anything with that is good.
Mirage Archer is very nice.
Yeah, it's like the bow version of Winter Orb.
Yeah, it really is just like sort of a scary turn for PoE, because if the more and more skills we get that can do things while you're moving,
yep,
just nullifies every skill that can't kill things while you're not moving.
So this is why if you're not playing one of those, you have to have like explosions, so you can create cascading effects where you just like touch one thing, it like blows up the screen, and you can just move on to the next. So you limit the amount of time you actually have to like run around and like make sure that everything is dead.
Yes. And you do have like one argument, like Righteous Fire can kill things while you're moving. And generally, for a lot of builds, Occult is not being included here. But like, you know, if you're a Guardian or a Juggernaut, then, you know, that's very low clear speed. You're generally slower, and the AoE is pretty gimpy. However, on the Occultist as well, it's like, it's sort of, I'm surprised I haven't actually played that before. But it's sort of the same problem as Winter Orb, where you're just running around and everything dies.
And there is an argument for just surviving. I think if you just want to, if you want to go to, you can play a slightly slower build. If you're playing something that you're comfortable with, and you know you can survive and you can be in it for the long haul, you'll probably get one. Honestly, if you're in that bracket.
Yep, I agree.
It's all about consistency, like sticking to your game plan.
Yes, and if you really do want to try hard, this is something you can do with a full-time job as well. Obviously, it depends. Other real life responsibilities. If you only have 2 hours a day, then no, you're screwed. But you know, if your significant other is willing to give you some space and you don't have any like kids to mind or something, you know, you can do it while having a full-time job. It's very hard. It's definitely a challenge. Not saying it's easy, but there's been a lot of community members saying like, yeah, I managed to get one even though I had a full-time job and stuff. So it is possible. But yes, it's gonna be. I'm very excited for the flashbacks.
I will be theory crafting as well, right? You're doing your Hierophant tomorrow. I'll probably be theory crafting PoE as well all day. I'm just gonna go over kind of like non-meta options, I would say, because I mean I like Winter Orb, but I'm just not in the mood to play it right now. So I'm probably gonna think of something else.
That's fair. So you're gonna lose to a Winter Orb player then?
Oh yeah. No, I am fully accepting this as my fate, that if I don't play it, I'm probably gonna get beat by it. But so be it.
So and like we're recommending as well, if you really do want one, probably the easiest and least competitive one is softcore solo self-fun. And then like the trade league softcore is like insane. There's usually a team of people. They just like mash them out and like boom, all the altars are gone. It's insane. So yes, very hard to get.
Oh, I will say this though. on Deadeye, I think that you can like anything with Mirage Archer actually does have a chance.
You can compete.
of
Definitely.
of beating Winter Orb. Yes, so that's why I'm probably gonna go something with a bow.
Yes.
I mean, even KB is still very strong. It's like a much more specific Atlas study setup. We've seen Rise do this on multiple occasions, but it can be very effective as well to go KB.
That's sort of all I wanted to talk about for the flashback. But as a final topic for this week's podcast, I want to talk a little bit about Mayhem and Turmoil, which is an alternate mode that they've given us in the past. They chose not to give us now.
Yes.
And I believe they specifically said, based on statistics, that they had seen. That's why they chose Flashback, because more people play Flashback than play Mayhem and Turmoil. Which is very different than what we see and hear on Reddit and as streamers, because most people are like, ooh, I can't wait to play Turmoil again, can't wait to play Mayhem. Actually, nobody says that about Turmoil, but I can't wait to play Mayhem again. Whereas I've not really heard that many people going like, yay, I can't wait to play Flashback with 2 additional Exiles again.
I remember Flashback being very popular back in the day. Like, it was very popular. Mayhem was just kind of the crazier version. I don't know. Do we know if the numbers they're looking at is the consistency, how long they're gonna play them? Because Mayhem might just be a little bit too extreme for people to engage with on a right. It might be a little bit too much. I don't know.
Yeah, I can definitely see. Like, obviously, they have all the numbers. They have they read the Path of Exile forums. I don't read those. They read all of Reddit. They read everything and the actual hard stats. And I can definitely see
it's more about the
a
hard
new
stats, though,
player starting up Mayhem. You get on the beach, and then you just get killed by 20 exiles.
Yeah. It's a little bit more punishing. It allows for the, oh, I hate this shit, I'm out of here kind of moments. For Flashback, it's more like you can always figure a way around and getting what you want. Yes. So maybe that's why. Maybe it's just more retention, like a better overall feedback to these kind of events. It could be.
Yeah.
You could sell me on that. Even though Mayhem is it's really fun to get overrun by 20 exiles. I mean, those is like, I remember those maps. They were crazy. They were so much fun, but I mean, they are a bit extreme.
Maybe having it ramp up over time, or not even over time, but as you know, the higher and higher you got, either that it's is it full power in Act 10, or that it's at full power in maps somewhere, like tier 4 maps. But I could get on board with that it's maybe only 5 exiles on the beach. Because
do we get to keep all our gear from Flashback? We don't do that in Mayhem ever, right?
So Mayhem is voided. That means that at the end of the league, you lose everything. You can never use it again. You cannot use it in Standard. In the Flashback, this is a non-voided event. That means that you get to keep everything and play with it later on Standard if you so desire.
So this is a good league if you want to build up a lot of currency, or you want to just get rich in Standard, or just have a lot of things to play with, right?
Yes.
And if you don't want to lose your toys, if you want to make a really fun character.
Interesting that it's like a community pastime to shit on Standard, and that we still have so much people that are not happy with voided events. And a very common opinion I've seen is, well, I don't play Standard, but I don't want all my stuff to be voided, which I find is very interesting.
You don't want to lose what you've worked for.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yes. To some degree, I find it interesting.
I mean, I personally, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I can see the argument. I mean, same. I do have an attachment to some of my older characters, and I hate to see them go. I don't care because it's just another event for me. So a Mayhem event for me is it's like, okay, that's just the rules, and we're gonna have fun here. But in general, I mean, I like having my character. I like having something to look back at.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
All items must die. Item Morgulis?
When was the last time we had a Flashback event where it ramped up to all of them in the end? We had that once, right?
No, we had the weekends, had all of them.
Oh,
Every
that's how
weekend had
they.
all of them. That was really good. I liked that
Right.
a lot.
Yeah, because that was like really cool.
That was fun. That was 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, that's a while back.
That
I wonder
was,
if they would bring something like that back.
yeah, Incursion. Maybe that wasn't 2 years ago.
Wait, was that Incursion? Really?
I don't know. I it was at least 2 years ago, I think. Maybe. I could be wrong. It's EU memory.
Hmm. Would you want
Um,
that again?
Yeah, I thought it was super cool. I mean, I've always been something I've really wanted has been leagues that are more dynamic and ramp up over time. Like, I
Hmm.
also think this would be healthy for the development of the game, where say for example, say the first month of in synthesis, Cortex just wasn't available. It wasn't unlocked yet. There was something either we had to do as a community, like maybe there was a
Hmm.
counter, like that softcore had to kill like 10,000 synth bosses and hardcore had to kill 5,000,
Hmm.
or 50 bosses before
Oh.
Cortex got unlocked, and that gives them a little bit more time to work and polish on the league, as well as gives people more of an incentive to play month 1, month 2, and month 3. Like, something I wanted for Breach was that first month of Breach, there would have been, the 3 breaches per map. In the second month of Breach, I wanted 5 or
Hmm.
6 breaches per map, and some of the portals being already opened. And in the third month of Breach, I wanted that as soon as you got to maps, breaches were just open. There were no normal monsters anymore. There would be a breach domain boss or something per map. And yeah, I think that would be really cool. I really want dynamic leagues. Things that change over time.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would be good for something like a flashback event, at least. I think that makes a lot of sense for that. I think that's kind of scary though in a regular league, because then you're gonna be like, okay, so I'm not gonna get the full experience at league start, and so that you're gonna like, are people then gonna hold off a little bit until things start ramping up? Because why would they like take a week off early on in the league when it's better to take it off in the end of the league?
That's true.
That's kind of weird.
I see that. I definitely see that. I mean, I just, yeah, that's very hard.
I do like the idea of having something like that you build up to as a community. I mean, you
So
could
the
you could have like
reason,
a big animated like brain that would then like
yes.
fill up, and then a light bulb goes up, then Cortex is now available. That'd be kind of
Nice.
cool.
Nice.
I remember where he is. He's there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just like, I don't know, I do like community-oriented goals, mostly because of how much I enjoyed the Gates of Ankiraj opening in World of Warcraft.
Mm,
It was the
yeah.
single best gaming experience of my life. It was laggy as hell, but I was really invested. I was like, like gathering away. I was like, this is really fun. I'm helping the
Mm,
cause. Here, take my timber or whatever. And then when they were opening, I was like, tears in my eyes, like,
yeah.
oh my god, dude, we did it. We opened the
Oh
gates.
wow.
Look at all these bosses, and it was so cool. Definitely the best gaming experience I've ever
An
had.
emotional moment. I like
I
it.
skipped school. I mean, I skipped school most days, but I skipped school extra hard that day.
Okay. Nice.
It's beautiful.
That's an okay gaming moment for one
Yeah.
to skip school for. I don't usually encourage that, but for that one moment, I'll allow it.
So, in the grand scheme of things, I technically skipped school to study for my real job.
Same.
um, but yes, I would not encourage that either.
I don't think for me it was the best idea, because I kind of like got into some bad habits that don't translate well as a streamer. But I mean, in terms of getting better at games, I guess it helped.
Yeah,
You win some, you lose some.
job omega lol. It's good though. I'm happy with how things turned out.
Yeah, I am too.
Do you have any more things you want to say about Mayhem and Turmoil?
Not really. Not really. I'm just excited for like the new league stuff that's
Yeah.
gonna get announced.
Any
That's what I'm
any
waiting for.
hot takes for 3.7? Anything you're excited about or hoping for? Cyclone nerf maybe?
Yeah. No, they're gonna make Metal Gear again. They're gonna give Cyclone like +10 radius. It's gonna be the greatest change. No, I'm the thing I'm like hoping for the most, I think, for the whole melee thing. It's just, I mean, we should do an episode on like expectations and all that. Like, I mean, we'll probably do it when we get closer.
Yes.
I just want mechanical changes to melee to make it more interesting. And the thing is, I can't even like start to begin to think about how you could do this. I would need some more time, but I mean, that's what I'm really hoping for.
Yeah.
I want to get surprised. I want them to surprise me, like throw me a curveball here. Boom. Where I can just sit here and praise GTG all day for their crazy innovation. That's what I want to do again.
Yes. So
give me some of that.
We do have 2 more. Actually, we've got a lot more podcasts scheduled. So we obviously have the next one is going to be the 19th of May, most likely 7 p.m. as well. And we'll be talking a little bit about how the flashback is going for us, and we'll give you some teaser topics closer to the time. And then the next one is going to be the 2nd of June, which is 5 days before Carnage launches. And then that is around the same time where we have a lot of news and stuff already then about it. So we can give you guys predictions, talk a little bit about ideas, and worst case scenario where patch notes aren't out yet. I mean, I'm always hoping that they'll start like being released earlier. But if they're not, we could end up postponing the 2nd of June podcast to the 4th of June because they're definitely out by Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, so
we'll figure that out when we get a little bit closer, right?
Yeah. And that one would involve things like, you know, like this is what you should play for this league, and some hot tips. I'm just confirming. I'm just guessing, but
okay, there's something I've been wanting to do. I'm just gonna ask you right here. So on Bay Class, I've been wanting to do like predictions for certain things for these, like for skills as well, like maybe like a rating of things. I know they do that for like cards in Hearthstone. Would be up for trying that?
Okay, how does that work?
I don't know. We take every single skill and we rate them, like all the new release stuff, and we say it's gonna be shit or it's gonna be good. I mean,
that sounds fun. Yeah.
Because I remember like kind of like thinking, oh, Shattering Steel is gonna be good. I was like, oh, it's like. No.
That's good because I would have voted the opposite. I was like, this is dog shit.
I was like right about most other things I predicted,
yeah,
but that one I was like, no.
I'm down.
Oh,
I would have been right on Winter, but I was like, this looks amazing. It's gonna be my league starter. Let's go. Awesome.
Nice.
That is pretty much us for today then, Nugi.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast, and Nugi,
joining you on the podcast.
Yeah, co-hosting it with me.
Oh, yeah, sure.
What? How else would I say it? It's our podcast.
It's just,
it's our podcast. We're hosting it together.
It's just weird for you to thank me for joining you.
Well, it's important to be thankful. You could have not joined
thank
me
you as well then.
Yeah.
It's just well, thank you for joining me, sis.
Happy to be here. Very happy we're doing this. It was not meant to be phrased incorrectly. But yeah, where can we find more of Nugi?
Well, you can find me on my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, my Twitter, Nugi, and everywhere. Nugi. Just search on Google. You'll find me.
Awesome. My name is Zizaran, and we will be back. We will both be back the 19th. And
yes.
yeah, thanks for watching.
Bye.